So, yeah.
I'm like, I know you like the power washer thing isn't that much of a meme. Like, I can see it on my
there's
wavelength.
like this tiny little wave, like seismic wave on it.
Yeah. So there's a fucking plane going overhead and a child screaming. A dog just started barking, and then my next door neighbor is power washing. Welcome to our
prompts tomorrow.
Yeah. What the fuck was I gonna talk? I literally had a segue. So hi. This is our experimental fucking podcast that doesn't have a name yet.
Hell yeah.
And I'm Michael. This is my boy Tommy.
This is me.
And basically the rationale behind doing this whole thing was me and Tommy don't really talk to each other unless we're talking about movies.
Yeah.
And we're both in our quarantine depression and needed like a creative outlet, so we figured might as well record us arguing about movies.
Yeah, we used the app Letterboxd a lot, which I think is such a great way. I remember like before quarantine, I watched movies here and there, but Letterboxd was such a good way to just keep up and just like track the movies I had, and also like develop a ranking of what movies I liked. And I really started looking into movies in a pretty different way since then. I wouldn't say I'm like this nuanced, film student or whatever. I know Michael's a lot more knowledgeable about movies than me, but I think we both have really good conversations about movies, which is I think why we wanted to do this.
And I think another part of it is a lot of the time when we talk about movies, we're with our other friends, and it's really easy to get your opinion shot down. Specifically, I happen to be the one person in our friend group who likes The Last Jedi, and Tommy is the one person in our friend group who hates Uncut Gems. So there's no real way to like talk about it organically without just getting stomped out by the rest of the group, whoever has the fuck, Tommy, there's something I forgot to tell you. Wait, hold on.
What's that?
Okay, can you look on the back of your microphone, make sure it's on 1?
It's on 2.
Okay, switch it to 1.
Okay. How do I switch it to 1?
It's a sliding switch.
Oh, this thing?
Yeah.
Oh, it is on 1.
Oh,
I'm dumb.
okay.
Well, we'll do it live.
Fuck it. So basic outline we're kind of going for here is just kind of casual,
Yeah. Just like a chill boys on a Saturday morning kind of feel.
We're also in my fucking backyard right now.
Yeah.
Because
there's a cricket chirping now in the power washer. We're trying to really get the first podcast rolling.
And the thing is, we're gonna look fucking crazy if like we listen back to this and you can't hear fucking anything, and we're just like paranoid.
Yeah.
So basically, the structure we're gonna kind of do is like we came up with a list of like a bunch of fucking topics just to talk about general movie stuff. If there's any like big movie news kind of thing that will spark a good conversation, I figure that we'll talk about that too.
And we'll also just like get movies here and there, and we both watch them, and then we'll talk about like today we're gonna we both watched Midsommar.
What the fuck did you say?
That's how it's pronounced, right? Midsommar.
Midsommar.
No, it's Sommar.
Yeah, but it's Midsummer. Like I've never heard it.
I thought it was Midsommar. Is this gonna be a weird thing for the rest of the podcast? I'm just gonna pronounce it differently. I thought it's AR.
Yeah, but it's in Swedish. They say in the movie the Midsummer celebration.
Okay, all right.
Unless I'm wrong,
I'm
just not ever. So yeah, basically that's gonna be like the book club kind of part of our podcast where we like every week we have our little movie going experience and we talk about it together. So today we're gonna talk about Midsommar, and I have a feeling Tommy's gonna have some takes on that.
Yeah, right here it just says, I don't know. You could pronounce it either, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah, we're gonna both talk about Midsommar. This is weird now. But yeah, I think it'll be a good first episode. We're both in that weird mindset of it's hard to like talk about things without really feeling it out first, but we're just gonna try to roll with it. Yeah, want to move into the first topic? I feel like we've stretched this intro off long enough.
It's 5 minutes and 13 seconds. So
yeah, we could cut some stuff here and there.
So
give it a little circumcision.
So before we actually get into our little icebreaker or whatever, I there's a piece of news that I found particularly interesting, Tommy, and I want to know your take on it.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So, as you know, we're in a pandemic.
What?
I don't know if you knew this.
Shit.
So, as a result, there's no fucking movies coming out, and
hey, Artemis Fowl did just come out.
Artemis Fowl did come out, and that was really good. So, fucking, my God, I can't think.
Did you write it down?
Yeah, no, it's right here, but I only wrote 4 letters. So we had, basically, this started with Trolls World Tour, surprisingly enough.
Yeah,
that
the
released
classic.
on premium video on demand for $20. You could rent it for 48 hours.
What? That's a steal.
Yeah, it was. It came out for, instead of coming out in the movies, it came out at home. You could buy it for fucking $20 or whatever. The other day, Disney just announced that Mulan, the 2019 remake, is going to be coming to Disney Plus for $30.
Jesus.
So what I kind of was interested to hear about was, like, I personally, like, I don't care that much about this movie coming out on premium on demand because, like, it's fucking Mulan. I'm probably not going to go see it anyway if it were in theaters.
Yeah.
But what it does beg the question of is, like, other big Disney releases that are going to be coming out, like Black Widow.
Yeah.
Could those go straight to Disney Plus for the
it's weird because, like, most movies, when you go to the theater, the tickets are like, what, $12? Mm-hmm. Around there? I don't know. I'm not going to spend $30. I can't think of many things I could ever spend $30 on. Mm-hmm. Let alone movies.
But, like, if you're a family of 4 and you're going to the movies,
true.
Then it's really cheaper than going to the
I could understand the appeal. Like, I really liked the original Mulan. Mm-hmm. Watched that a little while ago. It's great. But I just don't care enough to see Mulan live action. Mm-hmm. I think the only thing I would spend $30 on is the Avatar: The Last Airbender live action. If that came out, I would buy it in a heartbeat.
But see, that's what I mean. Like, is there, like, you pay the $30 price tag for a movie you care enough about? Like, for those of you who don't know, I'm a pretty big superhero guy. So Black Widow,
he does have powers.
I do, yeah. Yeah. Black Widow, I'd probably pay the $30 for if that was the only way it was coming out. But it also, like, in terms of, like, the future, there was also that controversy with Trolls World Tour made way more fucking money coming out on video on demand than it would have.
Wait, it made money even though it was like $20 for like 48 hours?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It made more money than the first Trolls did in its entire theatrical run.
Wasn't
in, like, 2 weeks.
The first Trolls were, this is a bit of a off subject, but Justin Timberlake, didn't he do a song for the Trolls? The song where it's like something dance. I really like that song. It's like very, yeah. Anyways, that's all I know about Trolls. Is that like a that's DreamWorks, right?
I think so. Anna Kendrick's in those movies. I've never seen.
Oh yeah. No, I mean I haven't seen those either.
But so it made more fucking money coming out on premium video on demand in like 2 weeks than it would have in its entire theatrical run. So
I guess I understand it.
And I also read on Twitter that it would only take 16 million people buying Mulan on Disney Plus to have it generate more profit than the Beauty and the Beast remake made a couple years ago, which was already one of, like, the highest grossing movies of all time.
Shit.
So 16 million people is fucking nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I understand it. I think maybe what they'll do is they'll put the $30 price tag, and if it's just, like, not moving at all, then they'll slap it down a bit.
Right. But, like, I don't know, like, I really like going to the theater.
Yeah, dude, you hear the one by us just closed down?
Yeah,
Sad.
it is sad. But like, it also sucked. So like, I don't really care
Yeah,
that much.
it's like everybody went to the one right next to it.
Or the other one that's 10 minutes in the other direction.
Yeah, true.
But so like, I really like going to see movies in the theaters, and the fact that like now these movies are coming out and possibly making more money without going to
Oh, are they
theaters.
gonna do that from now on?
That's what I'm wondering.
Ah, dude, I hope
like,
that doesn't happen.
I know.
I really like going to the theaters.
I know, but I'm saying like, if there's if you're making fucking more money, then we're gonna swear in this fucking podcast too. I hope you all know that, or at least I am, because I use it as I'm
a good Christian boy, so I don't say those things.
Okay. But so like, I really like going to see movies in theaters, and the fact that we might not that theaters will really go anywhere, but like,
well, they could go out of business.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
yeah. You know what's? I wish drive-in theaters were a bigger thing.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to go to more drive-in theaters.
Well, we went to one last year, Tommy, and you didn't come.
Are we gonna start this right now?
Dude, if you want to start this right here, I'm just saying. You're all gung ho about I would go to drive-in theaters if they existed, but when we go to one, you don't want to come.
Okay.
But
yeah, I don't know. I think that would really suck because that's just like more money. I mean, I feel like it's just not gonna happen though. Like, Netflix is already really popular, and I just love the way Netflix works, where it's just X dollars a month, and you just get all these movies and whatever. I don't want to have like new releases. I'd spend $30 on a new release. I think it might be, I don't know. There'll be some equilibrium that they figure out. But if this like new business strategy does work, I don't know. I guess we'll see. But I'm not too worried.
The thing I'm like okay with, it would never go this way, but like, fucking Trolls World Tour, I have no desire to see that in a theater. So if that goes directly to fucking video on demand and makes a bunch of money, like, good for them, because kids going to movie theaters fucking suck. Like, kids are just, they're
kids
not
anywhere just really suck.
Well, yeah, but
like,
I mean,
I can't think of many places where I want a kid to be in the same, like airplanes.
Right.
No, I don't want a kid in it. Like trains, like shopping centers, like a movie. Kids just suck all around.
They do.
And I feel like movies,
But I mean, like, if you could just be like, shut the fuck up, sit in front of the TV and watch Trolls, I'm gonna put it on for you.
Yeah.
That's fine. And
do you want to do a what are the odds of who has to watch Trolls?
do you want to?
Yeah.
Oh man, okay. Wait, how do we do this though?
What do you mean? Just do what are the odds, like 1 out of 2.
Oh, we both
and
say
if we both say the same number, I have to watch it. If we say different numbers, you have to.
Well, then we have to do 1 out of 2 because that's the
yeah,
only way
exactly.
to
That's how it works.
Oh, okay. All right, so odds 1 out of 2 that you'll watch Trolls World Tour.
That one of us has to.
Okay.
Ready?
Wait, so if we say the same number, you watch it. If we say
different
a different
numbers, you watch
okay.
it.
3,
2,
1,
1.
Fuck!
Yes! Damn it!
So tune in next week for Thomas.
Well, I don't have power, so
Fucking tough.
I mean, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't have power or reception at my house. I literally you were like texting me, and I could see like people's texts when I get them, but then I try to send something back, and the phone does the thing where like the blue line at the top goes all the way, then it stops like right before it's there.
Oh,
and then it just takes forever, and then 4 hours later it finally sends. But yeah, I'll watch Trolls. Damn it.
Good movie.
Yeah.
I used to work at a movie theater, and I remember seeing that trailer.
Yeah, that was last year, right?
Mm-hmm. I remember seeing that trailer every time I worked because I went in the theaters, and it didn't look good. It literally has the same plot as Infinity War, as far as I'm aware.
What? Now I'm kind of excited.
Because what I heard from this was literally just the trailer I saw when I worked there was, like there were like the trolls were split into factions based on genres of music.
Wow.
And so this guy was going around trying to collect all 6 strings of the different the different genres of music. So there was like rock, hip hop, country.
Country's the music.
and and then like you put it all. I don't know what happens when he puts all 6 on a guitar, but I assume half of life in the universe is extinguished.
Yeah, that's a reasonable conclusion. I mean, I guess I'll find out.
Yeah, you will.
I'll let you know.
It's a
What
good
happens
movie.
to Thanos troll Thanos.
Troll nose.
Troll nose.
Anyway, so basically my biggest point about Mulan was like, I don't know, I'm okay with this for like kids movies, like, you know, because that's like, if Joker were to release video on demand and in theaters, what's the appeal of getting it on demand rather than going to the theater? Because kids aren't watching that movie. If you're a parent and you have kids, then you'd probably rather not drag them to a theater where they have to be quiet and behave, and you have to pay extra for popcorn and candy and all this shit.
You have to get a babysitter and like all that shit.
Yeah, exactly. But for big releases, like, I don't know, it kind of scares me.
I think what would be a good idea is like adding just a little bit extra dollars. So like I said, like if you go to a movie theater and the movie costs $12 to see, like a admission ticket, maybe on video it costs like $15, and it comes at the same time because, you know, it's a simplicity of being at home, but it also could be different. I don't know, because I imagine if the company who like if Netflix releases a big movie and they want people to watch it on Netflix, but it's also like releasing in theaters. I think they have it with The Irishman, right? Like it released in theaters.
Yeah, like a limited theatrical run or whatever.
If Netflix wants people to watch it on theaters, then they might just lower the price so that it's higher in theaters. I don't know. It's interesting, but I don't know. It's not a thing that I really.
Well, it's like I don't know. This might be the old man in me, and like my kids will be like, who cares? You can't go to the theater anymore. But like, I just feel like seeing Endgame at home on my couch just wouldn't have the same.
We could go into that conversation now about.
That's a good segue about our best and worst. So we're
talking about movie experiences, and you just talked about how Endgame on your couch isn't good, but Endgame obviously for you in theaters was amazing.
It was. So we're gonna talk about our best and our worst experiences in theaters. So I think this has nothing to do with the quality of the movie.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
this is
100%
strictly
agree.
Based on like
your experience.
Your experience at the theater at the time. So I came up with my 3 best and my 3 worst, and I think Tommy has 2 of each in his head.
Yeah, I have about 2 of each. I want to go for
I say we do best first because worst is more fun to talk about.
I agree.
So
hard to agree.
For my 3rd best, Tommy, you're not gonna like this. It's Force Awakens.
Oh boy.
Well, like, okay.
No. Just say your experience. It doesn't matter the quality of the movie.
Well, because it was the first time. It was it was 2015. I'd never really seen. I've seen like parts of a Star Wars movie before, but I'd never really watched the entire thing because it was like kind of my dad's thing, and I was like, Star Wars is lame, and I didn't like it, and I was like, so it was kind of like a special thing for him to be like, I could finally take my son to a Star Wars movie, you know. Yeah, and so we went to the theater, the one that's now closed, rest in peace.
Yeah.
On a Thursday night, and it was like my first time going to like a Thursday night showing, and it was also my first time where I'd seen like a line stretching like all the way across the theater.
Oh shit.
And I remember getting in line. We were like the second people in there, and it was like a big deal about where you were in line, so you could like get your seat, and excuse me, just fucking burst the microphone. But so that you could get a good seat and all that shit. And then, when we got in the theater, it was just like fucking electric energy, like it was the Millennium Falcon showed up and everyone was like, woo, and it was like not incessant cheering to the point where it's annoying, like,
but it was like fun.
But it was like, yeah, it was like fun because like people were like laughing at the right times, and not like being fucking annoying about it. But I don't know, it was just a fun time overall. And I also like the movie. Tommy doesn't. And
like I saw the movie, and obviously I don't really care about the theater experience, but I just remember like not liking the movie.
Yeah, I know. That was how we bonded and became friends.
Is that actually how?
Well, in English class, we were like...
We just talk about Force Awakens?
Well, I was like, me and the person behind me, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We were talking about the movie and how much we liked it, and you were like, I don't know, I thought it was overrated. And I was like, fuck you, Tom, you know what you're talking about.
And
And everyone liked that movie at the time, and now I'm the minority.
I'm just saying, I was ahead of the curve.
Fuck you, Tommy.
Anyway, so my best movie theater experience.
Is it your best or your second best?
Which one was that for you?
That was my third, so I'm going.
Okay, I only have two, so I'll try to keep it shortish. My second best was It Chapter 1. Or the thing is, I'm gonna mix these two in together. I have It Chapter 1 and 2 for best movie theater experiences. I thought the first one I actually liked, and it was like decently scary. Thinking about it now, it's like it's fine, it's whatever. But my movie theater experience, it was good. I really enjoyed the movie theater experience just because it was one of those movies where the entire theater started like bonding.
Yeah.
And do you remember that scene where Richie, was that his name? The
Finn Wolfhard?
Yeah. He walked into the clown room, and this one guy in the theater, he stands up and he goes, "Fuck this shit, I'm out," and just leaves. And everybody's just dying. It was so funny. And I was with some friends too, and we were just like, the entire time we were just like really just like scared by the movie, and people were like throwing popcorn up in the air because they were like the jump scares, and it was just like a really funny experience. Again, the movie was like fine, but it was a really fun experience. And then It Chapter 2, it's kind of the opposite.
Not as good.
I hated that movie. It was like really bad, but that I saw that last year in college, and it was just really funny because I remember this one specific moment. The movie was so long. It felt like it dragged on forever, and we were all like, "Oh my god, is it over? This is torture." And then it was like getting to the ending, and like while we're saying like, "When is it ending? When is it ending?" They started doing like a slow motion montage, and it literally felt so patronizing because we're just like, "What is it over?" And they started going in slow motion, and we were just laughing so hard. But yeah, those were both really great movies, and I was in a drive-in theater too.
Oh, so, in Chapter 2. You go with your college friends, but not me.
I'm sorry, I don't know where one is around here.
You would have if you came.
Shut. Anyways, those movies were fine. Chapter 2.
Well, Chapter 1's. Yeah, Chapter 1 I like. I really like Chapter 1.
Chapter 2 sucks, but yeah, I really had a great time at both of those movie theaters.
Can I go on a quick tangent about Chapter 2?
Yeah, go for it.
Why is it that fucking long? Like,
it's so long.
It's so long,
insane.
And it's not. It's literally like, okay, I'm gonna go off on my mission now. Okay, now me. Okay, now like they all have to find the like what are they? Fucking
it was like
totems?
The Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
People had to find them.
Spoiler alert for Chapter 2, by the way, but
it's not worth seeing. Anyways.
It's not worth seeing, but like, first of all, perfectly cast, I think.
Yeah,
the adult cast of the kids.
It was a pretty good cast. Bill
Hader was great. I think without him, I would have wanted to kill myself the entire time.
Yeah.
But it's just so. It's like if you just cut out like 30 minutes of that movie, it'd probably be okay. Like it'd probably be like just a fine horror movie. And the thing is, it's also not scary at all.
No, it's just not scary.
Like the first one, I was genuinely creeped out a few times.
Yeah. Like when the clown Pennywise comes out of the fridge, they go into the house. That was
the doors that say like not scary at all, scary, very scary.
That whole honestly, I just think about it. They did a good job with It Chapter 1.
They really did. That guy's directing The Flash.
Like best thing in the world, but they did a good job. Mm-hmm. I really remember liking it. It Chapter 2, it was just slow as hell.
Yep.
And not scary.
Nope. It was like,
and then, oh my god, do you remember at the end where literally to beat the clown, they're like, "Stupid clown!"
Yeah.
And then the little baby clown like turns the clown, it turns into a baby, and it's like.
That's another thing. It was like I don't get why that killed him, because that's kind of this. If I remember correctly, the first movie also ends with Pennywise kind of like disintegrating off like that.
Yeah, like but that was cool.
But the second movie ends with that too. But this time they're like, oh, this time it's permanent though, and it's like, why? Like I don't really get what's like different. But I don't know. Anyway, also, do you remember in the movie? It's when Eddie, the kid with asthma, who's now grown up, goes like into the basement of the pharmacy.
Yes.
And he has like, oh my god, it's my mom, and like she's being like tortured or whatever. He has like a vision. It's like a scary moment. Whatever. Anyway. Then, like, this, like, leper, because like that's what he's afraid of, right? It was like leprosy people. Grabs him and spits in his face. But when he spits in his face, like there's a musical cue. Do you remember this?
No.
And it's like it's the song from Deadpool, the one that's like, "Just call me Angel."
Oh, in the morning.
It's
Yeah.
really fast and it's really out of nowhere, and it's like I guess it's supposed to be a comedic moment now, and it's just really out of place, and nothing else in the movie has.
I would say I'd watch it again, but I'm not gonna watch it again.
I've seen it twice because my mom wanted to see them. Yeah, and I was like okay with it the first time. Like I was like, it's long, but like whatever. I don't hate it. The second time I was like, yeah, this is no good. This is just too long.
Yeah, and I remember the first movie. I think the scary scene of the first movie for me was the Egg Boy scene. Do you remember that? That was like legitimately like pretty scary.
Egg Boy.
Where the kid is like in the basement, and then there's that headless thing that's like just starts chasing him.
Oh.
That was
yes,
scary.
Okay.
That was just like, what the hell?
Yeah, the first one had some really freaky moments going on.
Anyways, go on about your best.
Okay, yeah. So my second best is actually 21 Jump Street.
Oh yeah. Those were funny.
That one was good for me because I was like in middle school, I think, when that movie came out, and we were going like to the movies with like my grandparents, and they like. I don't know. For whatever reason, I was like mad and like pissed because I was like an angsty tween, and I was like, I don't want to see this movie. Like, and because I want to see like Hunger Games or whatever was popular at the time.
Yeah, cinema.
And, yeah, good cinema. But like we sat down in the theater, and I remember I like literally closed my eyes because I was like, oh, I'm gonna sleep through this. I'm so mad. And then like I remember watching the movie, and it was fucking hilarious. Like I think it's one of the better strictly comedy movies to come out in the past couple of years.
It was very funny.
I thought it was really funny because like Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill, and I think it was just such a good experience because like the whole theater found it funny. You know, it wasn't one of those.
And also, it's one of those movies where like it really defines like your age group. Because I remember everybody when they were like 12 or 13, everybody saw that.
Yeah, and that's probably another part of it was I felt cool. Cause I was
that was like a cool movie.
I was like 12 and I was in an R-rated movie, and I don't know. It was like one of those times where like everyone found it funny. Like even my like grandparents or whatever were laughing, even though they were like, "This is so inappropriate. We should take them out of here." Because I was with my sister too, and yeah, like I just thought it was really, really funny, a really well done movie, and I think it's like really nice when a movie just like shocks you when you're really expecting to hate something and you love it.
Yeah.
You know, the other way sucks when you expect to love something and you hate it.
Yeah, that's a sad thing.
This should be a whole other episode where me and Tommy go in our feels.
Yeah, there are definitely a few.
All right, so what's your other best one?
So my best one would have to be Infinity War.
Yeah, I figured that.
It was just so cool. I remember I wasn't huge into Marvel, but I definitely was pretty interested to see this movie because I knew it was this was the big Marvel movie. So I'm like, oh shit, I'm excited to watch this. And I went at like the because it came out on like a Friday, and somehow for whatever reason they were doing the the Thursday 7:30 release. So
Stop slamming the table, man.
I'm sorry.
You're making the fucking audio spike every time.
I'm sorry. All right. I got to see it at like 7:30. And I was just like so enthralled the entire time, and it was so cool. I remember the Bring Me Thanos scene.
Oh yeah.
Everybody in the movie theater like popped off.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, yeah. I was there too. I was like screaming. I think I pissed myself a little bit.
And I assume during the snap, seeing that for the first time. Right, it was like so unexpected.
Yeah, the snap. Yeah, because you didn't think it would happen.
No,
it was just like, oh yeah, the whole like, oh if he snaps his finger, he's gonna get it, and it's like, yeah, it's not gonna happen. He's probably about to get it, but then he straight up does it.
Right,
and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah,
and then like you just have to watch as all these people die, and I think the best scene in the movie, and I guess this kind of brings up similarities to Midsommar, where Thanos smiles at the end of the movie.
Oh. Spoilers for Midsommar, Tommy.
Well, we're gonna talk about it anyways.
Okay, fine.
dude, when Thanos, because he says earlier in the movie, like, oh, I can watch
There's a fucking fire truck
this,
going by now.
Yeah.
So you guys...
Oh, you can see it in the, I don't know, maybe. Anyways, he says you can, like, he's gonna watch the sunset on the universe or whatever, and then he like, it goes to his face and he just sits down and then he like smirks.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. I remember I was like really blown away.
Well, because I think
the first
when
time
I watched
saw that.
it,
And then also like afterwards, it was just so much about the experience was just the afterwards.
Yeah.
Because I think for like 3 weeks straight, everybody was talking about Infinity War.
Yes.
It was so cool.
I remember that time in my life was just, I was vibing out. Because, like, I'm, the designated superhero friend, right? And nobody ever gives a fuck about what I'm talking about, ever. Which is fine. I get it. Different strokes for different folks, whatever. But it was just, like, one time where I was like, yes, everyone understands it and is, like, super hyped about it. And I remember also, I saw it with my friend, and I remember leaving the theater and just being like, oh my god. Like, I was so... Because I expected the movie, like...
Yeah, Marvel, like, did that.
Yeah.
Like, wow, I did not expect them to do that.
It's just... It was such a cool thing, because I think... Also, it would have been so easy for the movie to end where Captain America, he's just, like, sitting on the ground, he's like, oh god. Like, that's where I was expecting the credits to roll, but then you have an extra scene of Thanos walking through the farm, which is not only, like, a good nod to the comic book Infinity Saga, Gauntlet, whatever. I forget if it's Infinity Saga or
Infinity Gauntlet, I think it's called. Maybe, I don't know.
I own it.
I'm probably wrong.
I'm going to sound like a fake comic book fan. I have the comic. I've read it. I promise. But it was not only a good nod to that, but, like, so much of a better way to end it. Because, like, I think Thanos is the main character of that movie.
He really is.
So, like, of course you ended on him. Like, it's so great.
Anyways, what's your best?
Yeah, well, I mean, similarly to yours, Endgame is my best. I think we actually have flipped here.
It is flipped. You'll see why.
Yeah, you'll see why too. God, Endgame, like, I saw it in this shitty theater near my college, with a couple, like, friends-ish, like, those college acquaintances where you're like, I don't know, if you want to come see it, I'm going to see it, so, like, let's all go together. And I saw it with my girlfriend, too, and I have a girlfriend, by the way. Little flex. So we went to see it, and it was like, I was expecting it to be super hype. I literally deleted Twitter, Instagram, Facebook for like a week before I saw Endgame, because I was like, I want no spoilers. I didn't read any YouTube comments, nothing. I was so good about not spoiling for myself. And then I sat down in the theater and the movie started, and I was like, good, I made it all the way here, and I didn't get it spoiled for me. And it was just, like, such a hype experience. Like, I think I've come a little bit... Like, I love Endgame. I don't know if it's better than Infinity War, but, like, they're so, like... You need them both, really, to have, like, a satisfying experience. But Endgame, I think it's very flawed as a movie. But I love it so much, and I had so much fun. And I still have so much fun with it every time I watch it. And I just remember the energy in that theater was kind of like Star Wars. Just super, like, hype, and everyone was, like, so excited. But unlike Star Wars, where everyone stopped giving a shit by the time Rise of Skywalker rolled around.
Yeah, the theater was, like, very monotone.
Yeah. Everyone really gave a shit about what was happening in Endgame. And, like, I'm usually, like, I'm okay with some cheering during movies.
I don't like excessive clapping.
Right.
That's where I draw the line.
Jesus Christ. Fucking Jason Bourne is here.
Yeah.
Let's give it up. But, fuck was I saying? Anyway, so, like, the whole movie's fun to watch, but it's really the third act where it really becomes just, like...
Yeah, once Hulk gets the glove.
Right, exactly. Once Hulk...
Also, are we going to, like, talk about spoilers?
Yeah.
All right,
spoilers
cool.
for Endgame. Here's,
just in general.
Just in general? Yeah,
about.
Fine.
Cool.
I'll write, like, a little thing, like, spoilers for this, and this.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so I'm like... I don't love when people are incessantly cheering at shit, but for Endgame, I remember there's the moment where Captain America lifts Mjolnir, and the whole theater was just like, yeah, and I literally was like, I got full body chills, my eyes started welling up, and I, like, it just immediately started clapping. I was like, this deserves it. Whoa! Like, I was just so...
I remember, this could be a good segue, too, because that was probably... my favorite part of that movie
Mm-hmm.
because the reason we're gonna talk about our worst movie theater experiences, and my second worst is Endgame because it got spoiled to me.
Yeah.
I had a friend who I was like in the car with him, and I had tried so hard to avoid spoilers. I was so excited. I had watched Infinity War like the day before. I was really excited, and we were in his car, and he's like, "Oh, Tommy." He's like, he had something on his phone. He's like, "You're not gonna believe this," and I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "No, trust me, you don't want to see. You don't want to see it."
Tommy,
And I didn't know what it was.
Stop slapping the
Oh
table.
my god, I'm sorry. Alright, he's like, "You don't want to see this. You don't want to see this." And I thought it was like gonna be something weird or like. So I was like, "What is it? What is it?" He's like, "No, dude, you're gonna hate me." Like, and I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about." So then he shows me, and it says Iron Man and Black Widow die, and I was just straight up depressed for the rest of the day. We were seeing Endgame later that day, and I got to the movie theater, and I was just miserable the entire time. I was so sad, but the one thing that like kind of pulled it for me was Captain America lifting the hammer because I didn't know that happened, and I was so cool.
There was still, I think, when I walked into Endgame, I was like pretty convinced I had it down pat that Iron Man was gonna die and Captain America was gonna retire.
I knew someone was gonna.
Just because like
even before
it was so like it would have been so easy if Captain America died, because like we already knew.
Yeah, you said like this is my last movie.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but like from watching previous movies, Captain America would give his life, and Iron Man would too. But like, he's the journey that you follow the most from being selfish to selfless. Whereas Captain America would have been a little unsatisfying. Like, yeah, we already know he would sacrifice himself. To watch him actually do it is like we also already saw him do it in the first movie.
Yeah.
But so those parts of the movie I wasn't like surprised by, but I was like really satisfied by. The surprises were like Fat Thor and like and like Professor Hulk. I definitely did not expect Fat Thor. I expected Professor Hulk, and Black Widow I did not expect at all because she had a movie coming out and all this shit.
Anyways, what's your
Wait, hold on. So I wanted to say one more sentence about Endgame because I remember a part of what made it my best theater experience is like I've only cried in like 2 movies in my life, and well, this would be the third. So
2 movies in this.
I remember like Tony Stark dies, and it's very sad, but I wasn't crying. But then like at his funeral, it has his arc reactor that says
proof that he has a heart.
Yeah, proof that Tony Stark has a heart, and I just like a single perfect tear rolled down my cheek and like into my. It was like literally like the perfect cartoon, like one single tear.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's him. And then like his daughter has the line about like cheeseburgers, and that just wrecks me every time. So like that was like it was very satisfying because I was like it hit all the emotions. It hit like the hype with Cap lifting the hammer. It had some good humor moments, not as good as Infinity War did, I don't think, but entertaining, and I think it had really good emotional beats too, which made it great. So my third worst.
You can just combine your third and second, because I just did my second, so I'll be on my first after. So you can just do your third and second, like after.
Oh, okay. So my third worst, it's not really that bad, but it's Aquaman.
Yeah. I thought you liked it.
I do like Aquaman. Okay. I think it's a fine movie. It's not groundbreaking. This isn't about the movie though. I had to pee the second I sat down, like bad, like oh my god, I'm gonna piss myself. And I don't pee during movies, especially not during comic book movies. So I was like, I gotta hold it in, and the whole movie is just water. It's fucking Aquaman. Like there's water pouring, they're underwater, they're swimming, there's waterfall. The whole goddamn movie. Aquaman makes a pee joke at one point. Like, it was just bad. And I had to pee literally from the start of the movie until the end. Like, it wasn't a terrible experience, but I was like, it made it really hard to enjoy the movie, and I enjoyed it more when I watched it again because I wasn't full of urine. Mm-hmm. But yeah, my second worst is a tie, actually, between Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and Captain America, Civil War.
Wow.
Both for very similar reasons, just like talking people, but like right next to me. So in Winter Soldier, it was this woman behind me, and she was just like, is that Captain America? Who's that? Is this person? Like, the whole time. And, like, talking volume, not, like, whisper volume. Like, it's fucking... Yes, that's Captain America. Did you even, like, look at the poster or something before you came in here? Like, I don't get people who go into movies and ask questions like that. It's Chris Evans. It's not that fucking difficult. And then, just like, just like the whole fucking movie you're talking and checking your phone and you don't really give a shit. And it's like, yeah, whatever, that's fine. But, like, if you're going to check your phone, first of all, leave for, like, a minute,
Yeah.
Do you not agree?
No, yeah, I agree.
And if you're going to, like, ask so many questions, just don't, Just watch the movie. Because all your questions, I assure you, will be answered during the movie. And Civil War is on here for a very similar reason, but it hurts more because it's a very dear friend of you and I. Just take a guess. Take a guess of who it would be. Don't say it.
Okay.
But it's the one it's the one you're probably thinking of.
Okay.
He had an Android at the time.
Yeah. Okay.
He had an Android at the time, and he had it face up on his lap, and it just kept lighting up like the entire movie, and he wouldn't turn it around.
Did you ask him to?
Like me and what?
He didn't turn it around, even though you asked him to.
No, he didn't. He was like, "No, it's fine." And me and 41, 26. I'll bleep that out. But me and who told him, like, dude, turn your fucking phone off, and he was like, no.
Wow.
He was like, well, he wasn't like no, but he was like, it's fine, it's not lighting up that much. And I was like, we can literally see it lighting up every time someone messages you or every time you move your arm. And it was just very distracting. Good movie. I like Civil War, but it just, when it's a dear friend of mine,
it hurts a little bit.
It hurts a little bit more.
Before I go on to my first, I do have actually a similar story about your Aquaman one. I was going to a movie at like freshman year of college, I think like first semester, and I got there. I must have like drank water beforehand, and we were gonna see Creed 2, which I wasn't exactly excited to see because I hadn't.
The first one?
I had not seen the first, and I didn't really care about it. Wasn't all that great, but I got there, and like during the coming attractions, I'm like, I had to pee. So, and I'm in one of those seats where if I need to pee, I have to like, people need to move in. These are people that like some of them I'm friends with, some of them I don't really know. So first time I'm like, all right, hey guys, I've gotta pee. Next time, then like I come back, movie starts, I'm doing well. Then like during the middle of the movie, maybe even a little bit before that, I had to pee again. And I'm like, I can't like hold it in. This is gonna be painful. So I go again, come back, then it happens again right at the end. So I had to pee 3 times during that. I guess I just like broke the seal or something.
At least you didn't give a shit about the movie though.
No, I didn't really care. But anyways, my first worst movie. Do we want to?
I'm literally gonna like.
Do you want to?
No, just mini tangent real quick. Like, it's 6 o'clock in the afternoon. You're cutting down a tree now? Okay, maybe you just got home from work or something, but...
Yeah, leave the poor man alone.
And we did just have, like, a huge storm. So.
Yeah, I don't have power or anything.
So your first worst is not Endgame.
My first worst is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
The Tim Burton one.
The one with Johnny Depp.
It's a Tim Burton.
Yeah, I don't really know. Anyways, this was probably one of the only movies I had to leave from.
Why?
And I'll explain why. I had to have been really young. Do you know when that movie came out?
2006, yeah.
Yeah, so it's probably like 6 or 7. I got there. We're watching it. It's going well. It gets to the scene where the chubby kid gets stuck in the tube. And
it's Augustus Gloop you're talking about.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, me as a 7-year-old can't take it.
Oh my god.
I was that kid in the movie theater. I saw him getting stuck in there, and he's stuck, and the mom is like, "Hey, my little son," and I just had a panic attack, and I started crying, and my parents had to just take me out of the movie theater. Never saw it.
Wow.
And
then
I
haven't seen it since.
I remember I asked my cousin, like, I think like maybe a few years later, and I'm like, what happened? What happened? And he's like, oh, he just got out. Like, oh thank God.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
he gets
that was
out
probably
after
the
he's
worst.
fucking suctioned up into the thing, and his mom's like, "Ah, Augustus."
So yeah, that was probably the worst, just because I don't think I've experienced that much trauma during a movie.
I don't think I ever got scared out of a movie like that. I cried during The Incredible Hulk because I was scared of him. But yeah, I don't think I ever got scared enough to like leave. No, my first worst is Infinity War.
Yeah, we had the flip.
Yeah, we did have a flip. Infinity War, great movie, love it, popping in all the time, great time. So I saw it on a Thursday with my friend, and that went fine. Like, that one was fine. There was really no problem, except this one lady who laughed at really bad times in the movie. Like, you know the scene where, Peter Quill has the gun to Gamora, and she's begging him to shoot her?
Yeah.
And she's like, please, like, she doesn't want him to know where the Soul Stone is. And he's like, I love you. And he pulls the trigger, and bubbles come out.
Yeah.
Because, like, Thanos has their reality stone. The girl next to me, like, cackled. Like, she was like, oh my God! Like, thought it was, like, the funniest fucking shit that he, like, shot bubbles out of his gun. And this is a very emotional moment in the movie. Like, it's just like, read the room, man. No one else is laughing. Yeah. But the reason it's the worst is not because of her. It's because I saw it again with my girlfriend, and because she hadn't seen it the first time, and we went to, like, it was a couple weeks later, so it was like an empty theater except this one other couple, and I don't know what was going on, but they were having like a serious domestic dispute almost the entire time. And like they got
I hope that came up.
So the guy was just like grabbing her by the arm, like trying to pull her out of the seat. He's like, we're leaving right now. And she was like, no. And they're like screaming. She's like, I'm fucking coming, okay? I'm coming. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, I was like, should I get up and tell someone? I'm like, I'm a little scared to like walk past these people because they were like screaming, like louder than I've ever heard anyone in a fucking movie theater. Like, and like no shame at all. And like the kid is crying.
That's terrible.
Yeah. It was like trying to show my girlfriend this movie that I really liked and was really important to me. And like these people decide to have their fucking relationship end in front of us at the movie. And like, yeah, it was just a really uncomfortable theater experience, I think, which is the meat of why it was like I don't want to be here at all, because like anytime I see a couple fight in public, whether it's a movie theater or like Target or whatever, it's just a super uncomfortable.
I saw that once at a pizza restaurant. I was with some friends, and we were just sitting there eating pizza, hanging out, and we heard this girl from like one of the tables next to us say, "Yeah, but you still slept with her." And then time went up. We kind of just all froze. It was like, it was just like one of those weird experiences where like all the hair like races up, and you're like, "What the fuck did I just say?"
Oh yeah.
And then we just kind of went back to eating, and then we heard again, "You've cheated on me our entire relationship." And then she walks up, leaves the restaurant, and this is like, she's saying it like pretty loud too, so everybody could hear it. Not like yelling, but like you could hear it. And they kept it like cool though. Like they were like she was voicing her grievances about him, but wasn't like they weren't yelling at each other, which is good.
Healthy.
Yeah.
Airing out dirty laundry, that's fine.
And then she leaves. The guy sits there, and he takes a sip of his beer, like in that defeated look. He just kind of sits back, he's like, takes a drink, and then like slowly gets up and goes after her. It was really funny, but it was also like incredibly off-putting. Yeah.
So on that note, I just want to say, public service announcement. If you talk during movies, if you yell during movies...
Well, don't. First of all, don't.
I'm getting there, Tommy.
Yeah.
Don't get ahead of me. If you talk during movies, if you yell during movies, if you go on your phone at all during movies, if you're taking flash photos, which I've seen, maybe just don't go to the movies, because I don't think it's for you.
Unless you're being, like, coerced.
Unless you're seeing, Cats,
and
something no one gives a shit about, go hog wild. You know?
Yeah, just, like, don't.
Yeah. Like, if anyone in that theater cares about seeing that movie, and this kind of goes back to what I was saying
You're
about...
ruining it for everybody else.
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, I don't care about it.
Well, this kind of goes back to what I was talking about with Mulan earlier, is movies are made for the theater.
Yeah.
Not for your TV or your laptop or anything. So, like, when you go to the theater, you're going to experience the movie how the director wants you to. And to... Just don't be a dick about it, like... You know? Because, like, it's something you're trying to pay attention to. It's not just, like, a casual thing you're doing in the background.
I do find that, like, sometimes when I'm, like, watching something on my laptop, I have to stop and just be like, you know, I'd just rather watch this, like, on my couch, on, like, I was rewatching Avatar, and I watched, like, the first season or so on my laptop, and I'm like, you know what, I want to experience this, like the good old days, you know, wake up Saturday morning, cartoons. So I just, like, watched the rest of the series on my television, like, on the couch, and just kind of hung out. And it was a night. It was definitely, it was such a small, like, thing, but I definitely enjoyed it a lot more because of just, like, changing up the setting. And I think that's something where it's hard to replicate, even though you're watching the same movie. Like, watching movies at home is definitely not the same as watching it in a theater.
No, it's not. What's a movie you wish you saw in theaters?
Ooh, that's tough.
Because I know my answer. I can give you time to think about it while I talk about
your answer.
Mine's Whiplash. I would think seeing Whiplash in a theater would have been so fucking hype. Because, like...
I will actually probably say that, too.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I saw Whiplash in the theater.
No, I didn't either.
Yeah, I'm going to steal your answer.
Yeah.
I love
Like,
Whiplash.
imagine, like, with the sound and, like, the big screen.
Dude,
like, how just,
ending,
like...
too.
I know.
But we'll talk about it another time.
Yeah, we'll have to do a whole episode on Whiplash. We should do,
Dude.
like, an episode on Whiplash and La La Land, because they're, like...
They're so good.
They're both so good, and they're by the same director.
Yeah, I got to rewatch La La Land. I loved that movie the first time I saw it, though.
Alright, so let's talk about Midsommar.
Yeah.
Can I take a guess at what your thoughts on this movie are?
Go for it.
You hate it.
I think it's the best movie I've ever seen.
What?
I'm kidding. I did not like it at all. So I have some notes on it.
As I'm watching this, I'm like, Tommy fucking hates this. I'm like, there's no fucking way he likes this movie.
So I didn't really have a problem with it until, like, midway through.
Spoilers for Midsommar for the rest of this.
Too. Yeah, if it wasn't obvious, we're gonna have a fully.
Yeah, but, like, those were older. I guess this is an older movie.
It's 2019.
But like, this is what the episode's about. So if you're expecting no spoilers for Midsommar, leave.
Yeah. So the pace was, like, kind of slow. I don't know if it was like 2.5 hours, and for a while I'm just like, you know, it's kind of taking its sweet time.
Yeah.
Also, the beginning death scene, like, where the her sister, like, kills her parents or whatever, I thought, like, okay, this will probably have some significance at the end of the movie. I'm like, I saw that and I'm like, all right, I'm keeping this scene in mind for the entire rest of the film, because I know it's gonna be brought up, or it's gonna make sense. Like, why did she kill her parents? Why did this happen? And then it's gonna make sense at the end. It just didn't. It didn't, like, add up at the end.
I wrote down notes as I was watching. My last note is sister with a question mark.
Yeah, like,
I was like,
what was the I mean,
I guess the point is that the grief, yeah, is like what's, you know, and you know, like the grief is what sends her spiraling and gives her trouble with her boyfriend and blah, blah, blah. But I was like, I don't know. I guess it just wasn't clear that it wasn't connected, because, like, I was really expecting it to be like this cult has something to do with it, or there's some, like, I don't know, some reason beyond just, like, this sister was, like, evil, or not evil, but, like, she wanted to.
Yeah, I thought it'd be like, okay, she's probably part of the cult or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, okay, she killed her parents. They're gonna see a cult. Maybe there's some kind of connection there. There just was no connection.
No, there wasn't.
And I'm like, okay, Well, usually if there's like a big scene in the beginning that's pretty ambiguous as to why it happens, it usually makes sense at the end of the film. That's usually what happens with most movies that go by that, and that just didn't happen.
Yeah.
And also, part of the other thing, I didn't like how they're just like, oh yeah, she killed her parents because she was bipolar. That was like,
Yeah, I noticed
that
that
was kind of
too.
whack.
I was like, cause like,
It's a really bad representation of
is.
mental illness. It's like not even just bad; it's so bad.
so I don't know. I don't like this movie, but
Yeah,
I think credit where credit is due. There's obviously a lot of care
yeah.
put into it, and I think it's a super obvious passion project, like kind of thing. Like I think if you love this movie, I can get it,
I could get
but
it too.
I don't think I'd ever agree with it.
I
but-
could. I think if I watch this movie 1,000 times, I don't think I'd like it anymore.
Yeah. But I really thought, setting the whole thing in the daytime was interesting. I thought like the set designs were great. The production design was great.
The
Costumes.
the whole area and like the environment was so
Yeah,
pretty.
because you kind of really felt like the whole movie was filmed.
And
on
there's some
that
really
field.
cool shots. They
There's
had
some
the
really
upside
cool
down road.
shots. Yeah.
That was really cool. I'm like, wow, that's eerie. I like that.
Yeah.
And also the smile scene at the end. I'm like, okay, like that's cool.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make a lot of sense, but I like it. I really like when they have those like weird, creepy smiles at the end,
Mm-hmm.
or just smiles at the end in general. I think that's a great thing.
Yeah. That's the other. So that's my biggest gripe is probably the ending, I guess. So, okay, I get it. Like the whole movie is like her boyfriend's a dick. Like let's just get it out of the way.
He's kind of a boomer.
He is a boomer. He
He's
fucking
just like,
sucks
oh, I hate
because he's
my
like
wife.
he's like with his friends and his friends are like, oh my god, dude, your girlfriend wants to talk about her feelings. What a bitch. Like fuck her. Why would she even want to talk about that? Like, oh, what a drag.
Get her a therapist.
And he says
She
something
has a
about, like-
therapist.
yeah.
it's so boomer.
He
Oh my
says
God.
something about how she like never wants to have sex or something, and it's like, and just like the whole and the friends are just like such assholes to her for
Also,
no
like,
reason.
The friends just don't. I have this note too. There's no real purpose for Mark and Josh. What's the Swedish guy's name?
I forget.
Pele or something.
Pele, yeah, Pele.
He has a purpose because he's like the guy that introduced.
Yeah.
But like Mark and Josh, there's just no purpose for them.
I think
they're
especially
just
not
there
Mark.
just to be sacrificed.
Josh at least created some conflict with Christian,
That is true.
but Mark did nothing.
He just peed on the tree.
He peed on the tree, which, okay, so I'm gonna start going through like these are in chronological order.
Go for it.
So my first note here started the movie off, and my mom instantly sat on the remote and turned off the TV. So it's kind of a cute
That's
sidebar.
really funny.
My real first note is that Florence Pugh is very good at crying.
Who's Florence? Oh, the girl.
The girl, the main girl.
Yeah.
I think she had a really
She really like. Those are the kind of cries that you do like. You know. The worst of the worst kind. And that was she did them well. She did them
That's
well.
what I mean. Yeah, and my third note: boyfriend's friends suck ass. Underlined, and then next
Yeah.
to that, I wrote gaslighting because.
Oh my god! Can I also tell you too? This is also in the beginning. Like her parents died.
Right.
Her sister died. Not only did they die, but like they got killed
Mhm.
by the sister. That's like one of the most insane things that could happen to you in your life.
Right.
A few days later, she gets peer pressured into taking shrooms. I'm just thinking about this, and I'm like, what are the ramifications of this? And I don't know. It's just like.
That's
If they wanted it to be realistic, have her like have the most insane mental
Right.
breakdown. Because if someone takes shrooms after like I've never done psychedelics or whatever, but I can just imagine that
That's
the
for
worst.
your college board.
Yeah,
He's never done them.
yeah, please, mom, if you're listening. No, I just imagine like if you have the worst experience, most horrifying experience of your entire life, and then they just like, oh yeah, it's fine, you can just take some shrooms with
Yeah.
us, and it's like no, that's just not how that works.
And
Like-
I also, what was the
Oh, I'm
significance?
slamming the table again. I'm sorry.
You've been slapping it for 25 minutes. I kind of gave up on that front. What was the significance of the first shroom scene? Because I don't.
I don't know.
They trip shroom. She wakes up like a day later, and that's kind of it. And they move on. And
Honestly, dude,
I
don't
guess
know.
was it to set up the fact that like, oh, that's what they're using in the fucking weird drinks they're giving them later.
I guess I heard from some. I watched a video afterwards, to like try to understand it, and they said that they wanted to make the movie like a drug trip. The director Ari Aster.
Oh, good job.
That's his name.
Yeah.
I guess that was like his. That was some kind of thing. I heard that. I don't know for sure.
Well, it
so
worked.
Don't quote me. But I guess that might be why. But I don't know. Also what was I trying to? Oh yeah. So like, I guess one of my things I have a note right here. Like sometimes there are like confusing and weird movies, but at the end of it all, it like makes sense, or you could see what they were trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
This movie was confusing and weird, but it didn't add up at the end.
Yeah.
So like, I thought a lot about the movie Enemy. Have you seen Enemy?
I haven't. I read your review though.
So the first time I watched Enemy, I was like, didn't really care because it was very confusing and like there was very little explained about it. But then like I watched a video or like read something about it that explained it, and it explained it so well, and everything made such perfect sense afterwards that I really, really, really appreciated Enemy after I watched it. But after Midsommar, I like watched a video, read some stuff, and I was like, yeah, it's still confusing as well. It's not even confusing. It's just I don't get it. Like I just don't get why things happen.
Yeah.
It's weird for the sake of being weird, and there's nothing to add up to.
I literally wrote that in because I wrote my whole Letterboxd review without posting it because we didn't want to know what each other thought of it.
Yeah.
One of my first sentences is like, this movie is weird for the sake of being weird.
Can I go off that? I think let's see. Like I'm trying to find the exact note. I don't know if I have it. Anyways, so I felt like it could be a bit sensational at times. Oh yeah, so I felt like it was just sensationalizing like a lot, and there were lots of like weird and creepy stuff that was just for the sake of being creepy. I wasn't even scared by the movie. It's just like, yeah, they're just trying to be weird. Like when Josh takes pictures of the book, and then like the door opens, and I'm like, okay, he's probably gonna die or whatever. But then they're just like, oh, it's a cutout of like this guy's face and his penis and his
worn by
is out.
Ruben or whatever.
And it's just like, what's the point of that? What the hell's the point of that? Like, it's not even scary. It's just like,
and I
what
think
the hell?
also like there's a lot of lore stuff. Like obviously he like really thought out this cult and their practices.
Which is why I'm kind of upset that I didn't like it, because I could tell so much like effort was put into it.
Right.
It's just kind of, you know.
Yeah, it kind of fell flat for me too, and I think, like Ruben. So they have this character that's inbred, right? And he supposedly like sees what they don't see, and he makes these drawings. And I was like, this seems weird. Like this seems like kind of too much almost, you know? Like there's a lot of just like weird shit where it's like, oh, this is weird and fucked up, but there's no point behind it besides the fact we needed something weird and fucked up.
Yeah, one of my thoughts about it was I felt like if you had, you know, like in high school or middle school, there are those like really edgy guys. They're like, oh, I'm just so weird and I like watching horror movies.
Yeah.
I like death and spider, like that kind of thing.
Family Guy. I'm not like the other.
Yeah, like that. I kind of had the thought that like, if I had asked one of those kids to like make like, hey dude, make a really scary and fucked up movie, I could see like half of the stuff in this movie being in that movie. I just felt like Ari Aster, I don't know who made like the big decision. I imagine it was Ari Aster. I just imagine a lot of the decisions were just like, oh yeah, this would be so weird and so creepy, but it's like, I don't get the point to it.
It's also an A24 movie.
I don't know what A24 is.
It's just like small indie movies, so it's like this was obviously like a small budget, big passion project. So like, props to that, but also, I don't know. That's not an excuse. I almost feel like some of these more independent films are so like, oh, the big budget movies would never do it, and they're like, yeah, they wouldn't do it because it's not good. Sometimes, you know, like, I don't know. It's like just fine.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff. I think you're right about that. There's definitely a lot of like, when you're making a movie, there's probably a lot of things that you can't do when when you're working
when Disney's paying the bills.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
like, no, it has to be this way, that way, because we want to make the most money. They don't really care about the passion that goes behind it.
Yeah, exactly.
But then there are also the people that are like, oh yeah, any independent film strays so far off the track because they're like this and that. And it's like, well, they're also like, yeah.
Right.
They also don't hit
and that's where the purists come in.
They don't hit the nail on the head.
Like you're not a film lover if you don't love like these weird out there films, and it's like, no, I just kind of don't like them. You know, like props to you if you like them, but like I don't know, I don't. I think I have pretty good taste in movies for the most part, and like the fact that I don't like these kind of more obscure, weird. I also don't like horror movies to begin with. I can say that. Like normally, I don't like horror movies.
I'm like neutral on them. I don't like go out of my way to watch them.
I would say like the few that I do like are like It or A Quiet Place, where they come up with more interesting things besides just like jump scare. You're like,
which is why I can give props to Midsommar because like
no, me too.
They definitely tried to be that and tried to be like, all right, let's have this new and fresh idea, but it's just like they didn't ever expand on it.
But I think it's also I was waiting for the horror to happen and it never really.
I was just not scared. Like not even. I just had no.
I was just
like,
unnerved, not
and also,
scared.
I could see people say, "Oh, you're not supposed to feel scared. You're supposed to feel like psychologically thrilled." And I'm like, well, I didn't feel that either.
Yeah.
Like I felt nothing. I felt bored.
Me too.
I felt bored. I'm like, Jesus, this is 2 hours and 30 minutes long.
Yeah.
Like, why?
My next note that I liked, framed conversation with a mirror. They did it a couple times where the characters are talking and when, you can see them in the mirror.
Christian, when he comes into the room and you think what's her name? It's
Danny.
Danny. You think she's on like the other side of the room, but then he like walks and you see she's like on that mirror.
Oh yes.
That was cool.
But like there were a lot of conversations where like I don't know, it was framed with the mirror, which I really liked. And then there was a transition to the plane. I don't know if you remember it, but like Danny.
Oh yeah, she's like, oh yeah, she's not coming. Don't worry. And then it just cuts to her on the plane.
No. It's like someone says something to her and she starts crying and she runs into the bathroom.
Oh.
Closes the door and then she's in the plane.
She's in the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I really like that.
That's right.
Another thing these are more like just like general things, filmmaking things that I like. The friend group really fucking stands out when they're with the cult. Which I liked. You could always just be like, there they are, like, you know.
Yeah, exactly, because they were always like wearing the weird shirts.
Like green or like wearing So like they really popped out amongst the white, which made it super cool because it was like fish out of water kind of thing.
Yeah, I thought that like they had some really good artistic, choices in it to like how to shoot a specific shot, or like certain colors that popped out. I did really like that, or like how they set up certain shots, like the mirror scenes, like there were definitely a few scenes where, like, they'd be talking and you could obviously see one person in a mirror. But yeah, I thought that was probably the highlight of the movie. There were just some really cool shots.
Yeah, I agree. I also wrote, like, there's a lot of symmetry everywhere that I noticed. Like, there's like a bunch of, all the cult buildings are really, like, symmetric. Like, there's a big triangle and there's the
yellow triangle.
Fan thingies. And I thought that was cool. So a scene I actually really liked was the ritual suicide scene where the old people throw themselves off the...
Yeah, I definitely knew that was going to happen.
I knew it was going to happen, but I liked how it was done. Because I thought, first of all, it was very abrupt how gory it was when they hit the ground.
Oh, yeah, that was...
And I was like, fucking finally, like something happening.
Like, that was what, like an hour and a half in or something?
Yeah, and so I was like, cool. Like, thank God there's something happening. And I really like, there's like this effect around Florence Pugh's head after she like notices where like everything's blurred and there's like, it's like kind of wavy. It's just a good way to show like how she's thinking. Like,
yeah, you could tell that at that point she's going to have some kind of weird connection to the cult.
Yep.
Which is obvious because she's the main character. But you knew that she was definitely like, talking about like fish out of water scenes. I think that was probably one thing I could really appreciate. There were always things that just seemed out of place with the movie, and intentionally so. Like even when the people jump off the roof, like, you could see them wearing their shirts, but they're the only people that are like going on and on and on. And I could tell that like, all right, they're obviously not murderers. They're just doing this because there's some weird cultural like ritual thing. And they were just all those, the foreigners were just like really standing out.
Right.
And I think Danny really stood out in the most of the movie because she always had like certain reactions.
And I really liked her. I really liked Florence Pugh in that role. I don't know. I think she brought a likable quality to an unlikable character on paper.
Yeah.
I also wrote here, Florence Pugh has pretty eyes and cool pants. That's just something I thought of.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
She had cool pants.
I didn't
I
really.
thought they were cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so this part I thought was really dumb. What's his name? Not Mark, the other one.
Josh.
Josh and Christian have an argument about their thesis
Oh yeah.
that I
Christian
thought was
such
the
an ass.
dumbest shit ever. I didn't like.
It also didn't. What was the whole point of the thesis? Like the whole.
Well, it's just
thesis
like they're like grad
Yeah,
students,
but like it
right?
means nothing for the movie.
No, it means nothing. But also, why the fuck are you arguing about this so much? Why do you care so much? Like, I get that it's like, oh,
Do they go to the same college?
I don't know. Sure, let's say they did.
Yeah.
But like, okay, hypothetically, they went to the but like he's so mad that he's also doing his thesis on this weird. Like, you're both here. Why wouldn't you both do it on this weird fucking?
This is like an insane experience of your life. Like, sure, do whatever you want.
Yeah, but like it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do my my thesis on this insane cult we spent the summer with, but my friend's gonna do it on like, deforestation. Like, you're both here. Of course, you're both gonna want to fucking talk about this shit. And also, why did they flip a switch from thinking this cult was so fucked up and weird to suddenly being like, that's okay because they're like religion or whatever?
I don't know. When did that happen? Is that what you asked?
Yeah, well, not when, but like,
why?
It just certainly did, where the characters stopped kind of being unnerved.
I was
by
like,
everything.
oh, there's a pube in your thing. Oh, that's all right.
Yeah.
That's like, what? Also, that there were just so many weird scenes.
And they're just really dumb, I thought. The character,
Like,
why
also,
are you not leaving? Besides the two that they met there,
Christian was like straight up sexually assaulted.
Yeah. Okay, so that's kind of one of the last things I want to get to here. But I just thought the characters were being stupid. Like, why are you not leaving? It's very obvious what's going on here. And I think that's the thing is, like, if you'd watched a horror movie in your life, you know exactly where this is going. These people are probably all sacrifices.
He was like, oh, we got him a car. Remember when, what's the guy's name? Like Jerry or whatever it is. There's Connie and then her boyfriend.
Oh, yeah.
Connie and her boyfriend leaves. Like, oh, we like got a car for him and he's not calling you because he's gone. And it's like, oh, okay, like everybody knows.
Yeah.
And
but
it's just,
the only
so
person who found
unsubtle
anything odd with it was Connie, and everyone else was like, "Oh, you're being stupid." And ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you just saw people jump to their death like a day ago.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, don't worry about it.
Also, I have here, did the friends of Christian randomly stop hating Danny halfway through the movie? Because there was this huge thing set up where it was like, we don't want Danny to come. We're pissed at her for existing because she's a woman and she wants to talk about her feelings, and that's too much for us.
Too much for the boys.
and they don't want her to come to Sweden, and they're pissed at her when she doesn't want to take the mushroom or whatever. And then they just stop having a problem with her. Like, there's no more contention.
It's like, oh yeah, can I have your sleep? Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. Like, either they just like manned up,
right,
and they're just like, all right, whatever, she's here. But they never explain.
But like,
I don't know.
They were really setting up for tension with Mark. Like, he was a dick to her.
He was like, oh, I hate Mike.
Yeah, he was literally like, dump her ass, bro. All she wants to talk about is her feelings, and she doesn't want sex, and that's all we care about as men. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? And they never do anything with it, which I think was like really disappointing. It's like she doesn't. I don't know. Like, I hated that.
That's the whole point.
Beginning.
That's like the biggest thing for me. There was a lot of setup for a lot of nothing.
Yeah.
And that's just, I think, the whole point of the film. Like, there's a cult. I imagine, like, maybe once the ritual is finished, some wacky shit will happen that'll bring it all together.
Right.
And it's like, no, they just burned this guy in a bear suit and his friends. And it's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, what happens? Oh, she smiles. And it's like, what?
And it's like, scene.
Which is still cool. But
can we talk about naked people?
Dude, it was, at first I'm like, alright, whatever. Like most movies have a naked person. But then it's like, it's getting a bit weird.
Yeah, it was very,
it's kind of off-putting.
I felt like we watched, like, the whole encounter. It was like, I get that they're having sex now. I don't think we need this anymore. And like, women are screaming, and it's really weird, and it's like, that's, again, where I'm like, I don't know if you needed to show it this much.
Yeah, that's why I think it was, like, a lot of sensationalism.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why did they need to have all those naked women around the naked girl.
And then like the fucking old lady comes and starts
starts
pushing
pushing-
his butt. So
Yeah.
he's like thrusting
It's
more.
just like, oh, it's so unnecessary. And I'm like, I don't know. You could. There's probably a better. I don't know. I was just really
tired.
Yeah. By the end of it, I'm like, I expect this. Like
Right.
this is kind of just how the movie's going. And
Um,
whatever. And then he's like, oh, okay, now he's just gonna run around naked in a field for like 2 minutes.
and
And then he goes into a thing. It's like, oh, that's like he runs into that barn, and it's like, oh, what's next? Oh, his friend is like hung up the blood eagle,
which was, to be fair, creepy and unnerving. And I was like, whoa, like I wanted more shit like that, like more of this.
But there was no point to it.
I know there was no point to it, but like as long as you're having something to like keep me there and keep me interested, like there was no like I didn't feel like there was any intrigue, because like they get there and you're like, ooh, it's like a creepy cult. Okay, let's see where this goes. And I don't have any more revelations than I already had about them. You know, like I was like, this is gonna be a creepy cult that like wants to murder them. Oh my god, that's exactly what it was. And there's no like, they don't show like how severe it really is, how far they're willing to go, like all this stuff. It's like,
Also, like, I feel like if you're gonna have a movie where like a cult is gonna make all these sacrifices, you should at least like make some reason for it. I understand it's like, oh, like the whole reason for like why they do sacrifices is just like, oh, because that's just what they do. That's Harga, or whatever.
and it was like every 90 years.
And it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But it's like you need something a little bit more to make it like a little more spicy. You know, you need some more juice to make it like, oh, they do it every 90 years because maybe there's some weird shit that goes on that's like, you know, you have to do it or else blah blah blah. I don't know. Like there could have been something else.
Yeah, no,
and
I
there
definitely
just
get
wasn't.
that. I just feel like the whole thing was really drawn out. It was like what, 2 hours and 10 minutes maybe.
2:27. I remember looking at the clock a lot.
Okay, so it's 2.5 hours. Definitely did
Dang.
not need to be 2.5 hours. Like, fucking, so many just like, I don't know, movies are not that long. You know, it's like, that movie's longer than most really great movies. And
Yeah,
it just doesn't take advantage of that extra time, I didn't feel like.
It felt like a lot of the movie. I read some Letterboxd reviews, and one like put it really well. It's like I felt like a lot of the movie was just them running around in the field, just doing random like.
Well, because it was like, let's walk over here. Oh, there's a bear. What's over here? Oh, you're not supposed to go in there. Okay.
Oh, we're gonna dance now and
Yeah.
Hallucinate.
And okay, so like, the final resolution of it is like, she picks Christian to die. Because she sees him having sex with the redhead girl.
Yeah, granted,
he was drugged, right?
He was drugged and then forced to have sex with this girl,
right?
Which is
like
kind of weird.
I know some of it was like his own, like, because like they show that he's kind of like ooh, but
yeah,
I don't know. Like I didn't like him at all. I thought he was an asshole from the very beginning.
Yeah, I didn't like
their relationship was very clearly failing. And I know he was, like, ultimately the bad guy, but also, I just didn't buy that she would turn that way.
Yeah. Also, he's just, like that, I don't know. Like, he's just a guy that, like, isn't into his girlfriend anymore. And, it's like, okay, he probably doesn't deserve death in a bear suit. And it's just like, alright, if she was to pick him to die, I'd want some, like, good reason behind it. But there wasn't really a good reason for it.
No.
It was kind of just like, oh yeah, he was forced to have sex with this woman while he was on drugs, and it's like, I hate him now. It's like, what?
Well, yeah, I get that it was like, it was not just that though. It was like,
oh yeah, it was a culmination of other stuff
yeah,
too.
It was all the other shit. But also, I just felt like, I don't know. She knows it's a creepy murder death cult, right?
Well, she's like part of it now.
I guess so.
I think part of it, like the smile at the end, I think she smiles because she realized she's like part of a family now, the family that like she lost.
Yeah.
Which I guess makes sense, but I still like don't care.
But I also don't buy it because.
Yeah, I also don't. Yeah, that's true.
Because I just felt like I don't know. I didn't feel like she would go that way. And I don't know. I just kind of was left with like, what was the point?
There was just none. It was just like, oh, it's just weird cult stuff.
Yeah.
I was kind of disappointed. I wanted to like it.
I did too, and I honestly thought I would. When I started watching it, I was expecting you to hate it and me to like it. But I was just like, I don't even know what I'm gonna give it as in terms of stars because like I appreciate the craft and I did think about like it did have me thinking a lot, but I just didn't like it. Like I wasn't enjoying myself. I wasn't interested. It's a no for me.
I was really let down.
Yeah.
I mean, the beginning I found like a little bit interesting. I think the best scene for me was just the beginning, because like her whole family dies, and I'm like, okay, this is a cool setup.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what they're gonna do with this, but then they didn't do anything.
Yes.
And that's why I was like, all right, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways.
I think ultimately, like, final consensus, I'm gonna give it a thumbs down.
Yeah, me too.
But I think if you really like horror movies and you really like artistic movies, definonly watch it. Yeah.
And if you liked Hereditary.
If you liked Hereditary, you'll probably I haven't seen Hereditary, but
I saw it on a plane.
Yeah.
And I was like really bored.
Yeah.
So I stopped watching.
So, yeah, maybe it's just us.
But I don't know. That was a long time ago.
And we're definitely in the minority because most people like this movie.
Did they?
I think Letterboxd is like 3.8.
Wow.
Yeah, which I didn't expect, but it's okay. I mean, like, I would I watch it again? No.
No, definitely not.
I'm kind of glad it exists in a weird way because it's like, it just shows that like there is a lot of creativity out there that like.
Yeah, I appreciate it,
and I'm
which is better than what I can. There are like a lot.
I'd rather watch something as weird and out there as Midsommar than something like as generic and by the books as like a Paranormal Activity 3 or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like I can appreciate this movie more for like being such a passion project than I can for like movies that I think are like good or at least I enjoy.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of movies that I'm like, all right, yeah, this is good, but like they just play it safe and they play it by the books, and it's like, yeah, I expect that to happen. But this movie like caught me off guard, but it just like not in the right ways. It was just kind of
I agree.
Anyway.
So that's all we got. We talked about Midsommar. We talked about our theater experiences. We talked a little bit about Mulan.
I'm gonna have to watch Trolls.
You have to watch Trolls. We'll touch on that next time we do this. So yeah, thanks for listening. If you listen to the whole thing, if there's anyone,
hi Mom.
Yeah, I'll probably talking to my dad right now because you're the only one left. So hello. But yeah, so we'll probably keep doing this for a little while, maybe forever. I definitely at least want to do it for.
I want to try some more of it. I like it.
I enjoyed doing this,
and it's like it's also just fun.
Yeah. And like I said, I don't think I'd been able to have that talk about Midsommar with you without sitting down like this.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we're going to talk about Midsommar.
So if you want to subscribe, we have a Patreon. That's $1,000 a month.
Fucking OnlyFans.
Oh yeah, sorry. That would be so funny if we set up an OnlyFans.
So yeah, sorry if you heard the lawnmower.
Or the power wash.
Or the power wash, or the birds, or the plane. I think I already have a better idea of where to go next time we do this.
In the shed?
Yeah.
Honestly, you're not wrong. That'd be really funny, though. The shed cast. The shed cast. The she cast.
Shed cast. Alright, so, bye.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.